If you want to find out how your brand's performing on large language models, the first thing you can do is start looking in your analytics reports. You can break down the source and medium, especially the source, and look for referral sources coming from ChatGPT, OpenAI, Copilot, Perplexity, Gemini, Grok, and you'll start to see over the past few months or even years, they started to send traffic to your website. You can also, if you run a Shopify account or some type of online store, you should be able to start tracking actual purchase and funnel traffic through these large language models. And if you're not, that's a problem, because your customers are going to other brands that probably are tracking that information. The second thing you can do is start going into large language models daily and start to get an idea of what they actually think about your brand. So one way to do that is to kind of set up a schedule. I'd recommend setting up like a spreadsheet so we can start pulling in all this information. But daily going to a handful of these different large language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, you name it, and start putting in prompts, some specifically about your brand, so you can learn what these large language models are actually saying, what kind of sentiment they're giving you, what type of visibility you have. But another thing you should do is start putting in prompts about competitors. So let's say you're a skate shoe company. You might want to put in, who are the top 10 skate shoes? What are the recommended skate shoes for 2025? And start seeing if your brand shows up in that list. That'll give you an idea first if you're even visible and where you rank there, but it'll also give you presence. And so if you start doing that daily and copying all those prompts and kind of putting them down and set up the right formulas, you should be able to see how your brand is doing in the ideas or in the minds of these large language models. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but it's actually worth getting in front of so that you can see what these large language models are saying about your brand, because most users now are using these to figure out where to go, what products to buy, who's best. You know, in the old days they used search, and they still do use search, and they will still use search, but I would be lying if I didn't say that large language models aren't part of that process. And I look into my accounts, I look into my clients' accounts, and we can already see leads coming from them. So if you're not, and you're in analytics and you don't see a single lead coming from a large language model, I'd say the first thing you need to do is start seeing how you guys line up. Now here's the good news. I created a tool so that I can see inside what these large language models were saying about my clients, because I was doing those posts daily and it became a lot of work. And so what I do now is I use Seshes.ai. And it goes in there, I give it a series of prompts, leaderboard prompts, and then I also give it brand prompts. And then it automatically runs them daily for me and pulls in that information, aggregates reports on not only the brand, but the top competitors, the top topics that are being used. And through that, we actually get a visibility score, presence score, sentiment score, I mean, on and on. We get information that marketers like myself know how to take actionable insights and go to our client sites and make these updates. So if you're trying to figure out what LLMs are saying about your brand and you're just now starting to get used to this topic and figuring it out, check out Seshes.ai. I'm telling you, it's a lifesaver, and it was built by marketers for marketers.